Yo, bro, your t-shirt game is on point today.
Thank you.
Nirvana, bro. Like I noticed that when you were doing your training videos the other day, I was like, Nirvana is one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah, man. I was really into them growing up. The whole Seattle grunge thing, Alice in Chains, of course.
Hell yeah.
Just that whole scene was really cool, man, and it kind of stuck with me no matter where I went in life. So, yeah, I'm donning the Nirvana, man. Definitely a big Kurt Cobain fan.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We're gonna go off the rails automatically here.
Yeah.
All right. So did he kill himself or did Courtney Love set that up?
You know what? I don't know the answer to that, but I can say this. I kind of think she did. And I don't know. I just kind of get the feeling she did. Like when they were like, recording everybody and talking to everybody about the death, she had like little to no love for the man at all. Like you could totally tell there was nothing but disdain. So I don't know, man. It's hard to say, I hate to point fingers, but she definitely looks guilty in my book. I mean,
We could go on about this for hours, but I'm going to tell the listeners to watch something called Soaked in Bleach, which is a great documentary that unpacks this whole bad boy.
I actually just watched it, so it's highly recommended.
Yeah. If you watch that and then someone tells me that Kurt Cobain committed suicide, I think they're absolutely nuts. But we're also nuts because we're fighters. Right? Adam, what's going on, man? You've been doing a lot of stuff recently. You're training your ass off. How's things going? I see that background. I'm very familiar with that background. I can't wait to be out there again. You've been training really hard, man. What's going on? What's good?
You know what, man? I've just been pushing it. I recently just went to Pennsylvania with Sean Kanan. Had a really good experience out there with him and his family. They were great hosts. I mean, I couldn't have asked for more. They put me up in a really nice hotel. Everything was just, comped. So, huge shout out to Sean and his wife, Michelle. But it was a really great time. And you know what, I actually got to go there and I got to meet Yuji Okamoto from Cobra Kai season 3, which is Chosen for all those guys that don't know, and got to meet Fumio Demura, which is You Guys Are the Real Miyagi, which was a huge honor and experience. I can't even touch down on it. It was so cool. And yeah, man, I got to just kind of watch Sean do his thing. So it was really cool, really nice, and it kind of reignited that flame in me again, to be around the martial arts constantly, and to actually be around, different dojos and stuff like that and see how things are operating. It was just a really good experience, man.
It sounds tremendous. And, for listeners, the listeners that have been consistent listeners or new listeners, me and Adam are like stepbrothers, like BFFs when it comes down to certain things. So I am just so happy that you had that experience to do that. To meet the real Miyagi. And let's face facts. I love Johnny Lawrence. I love William Zabka as an actor and all that kind of great stuff. But you met two of the biggest badasses.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say that, man, because I always think of like Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, and it got progressive in every one of them, man. Like the bad guys just got worse and worse.
They got worse. You had a death match in part 2. Yeah. And then you had the third one where Mike Barnes, obviously, he could have easily won. But they kept, asking him to go into overtime and torture Daniel LaRusso. And he was definitely, I think, the most menacing Sean Cannon's character. And he did it so well, and that's what I loved about that movie is that he was just like a hitman. He was a hired gun.
Oh, yeah. He was, again, man, he was like I told him when I was there last time, I was like, you were the hugest inspiration, for me growing up and actually getting into the martial arts and just seeing that high octane, high energy martial arts that he gave in that movie, was just amazing, and you could tell he really put his heart into it. So again, man, it was an honor, to be around people like that. Was also around Sensei Seed, which is somebody else I met, which was just a really, really cool guy. Shout out to him. Really focused, very traditional in his martial arts aspects, and I have a great deal of respect for all of them. It was just very cool, man.
Yeah, it sounds like a remarkable experience. Okay, so right now, to the listeners that are listening on radio, they obviously can't see video. In the background, there's a small speed bag that you have hanging up,
Mm-hmm.
that's hanging from the ceiling in front of your house.
Yeah.
Some of these kicks that you're doing, actually, all these kicks that you're doing, you're hitting them with superior accuracy. How did that come about? And that is not an easy thing to do. Like, what is that? A 6 ounce, 8 ounce? Like, how
It's
big?
very small, man. Like, so
It's a
I'll
tiny
like
ass bag.
I'll walk up to it for you guys. It's no bigger than like, I mean, you know what
It's
I'm saying?
small.
It's very, very small. And it's so funny, man. My wife one day, she came back and she was like going to yard sales, and they had all these sales around, and this guy had this Century stand that you guys see behind me right here, and he had this speed bag, and he just wanted to get rid of it. I think he was one of those people that had, potentially tried to get into it and kind of changed his mind. And then just kind of, it sat in his garage for a while, but it was a really nice Century stand. And it didn't have a bag, but it had the speed bag. And I'd never worked with a speed bag in my life, bro. Like I had seen people working with them before. I had never actually got to like train on one. I've always wanted to kind of work with one. I think it's always really cool to watch, boxers kind of go off on them. So I always really wanted to try to do that as well. But I kind of saw it when I was sitting up here, and it, she dropped it off for me, and I was thinking, I was like, I really want to kick this thing, but I don't want to break my foot doing it because my foot's like literally a size 12. So I kind of looked at it for a second, and I kind of sized it up, and I kind of went over it in my head, and kind of saw myself, like I said, doing the routine, and kind of envisioned, what were the possibilities of me kicking this bag and not hitting something. So to date, I've been working on this thing probably a total of 5 weeks. So a little bit before I left to go and with Sean to Pennsylvania. But not once have I hit this thing, man, as far as like hitting my foot or hitting it wrong. And it's been an absolute like miracle that I'm going through this thing like I am, but I am, and I'm honed in, and working with that type of small object that's, it's so very small, and there's such a wide range to not connect with it. You have to be very accurate, and you have to be very precise. And like I said, I always tell any students that I have when they're kicking, you want to envision it. You want to see yourself doing it, and you want to see again, this is something you kind of have to go over in your head. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but as an individual, it's always worked for me. I mean, I think it worked for you too when you were here. It's that transcendence, and you see yourself doing it, and you just do it, and
Ever since I trained with you, bro, and we'll talk about that in a little while. Of course, more so we'll unpack it more, but I've been a different person. I've been galvanized. I've been reborn and baptized. Like, what can I say, bro? Like,
my wife and I are super impressed, man. Like, you're doing really well, and like you're I see you getting it every time I'm on here. I see you getting it and going out and training. And it's, again, man, it's an inspiration to me, because again, what people don't realize is when we're all doing this training and we're posting this stuff, it inspires everybody, man. It really does. It gives them this fire and this edge, and people really, they want to do it, especially those that are interested in this topic of martial arts. So it's just really good, man. It's a really positive energy, and I like that.
Hell yeah. We're not too old for this shit.
Nah,
like, to quote Lethal Weapon, we're not too old for this shit.
Exactly.
There's no doubt. I mean, I'm 42. You're 38, I believe, right?
I'm 39, going on 40 here. And I will be.
And we're trading our asses off.
Yeah, man. You know what? And that's a lie. What they say, you're never too old to train. And you know what? For all those people listening out there that used to train and they think, oh man, I could never do that stuff. Guys, I gave up for 20 years of my life. I didn't throw a kick or a punch. And just recently, because of COVID and this pandemic, that was literally the surge in me that got me out here starting again. And I can tell you guys, I'm better than I ever was before. And I think
Yes.
it's just, it again, it's experience, but we're like wine. We age like wine, and aged wine is good wine, right?
Absolutely. I feel the same way, dude. Like, to be honest with you, I feel sharper than ever. I'm putting together a science of combinations and boxing and things that I'm doing, and I just can't stop. Like, I actually literally lay down in bed and fantasize
Yeah,
about how I'm going to do a quadruple jab. Never mind a double jab. We're doing
yeah,
four,
yeah.
and we're going to hook off that jab. So that's
And
five left hands.
and you know what? There's people out there that don't, I guess that they don't really understand how positive that can be for any martial artist. Going over it in your mind. I think that every one of us have been in a situation where we couldn't physically do anything, and we wanted to so bad. And that's that time where you really want to hone in that part of your brain, and you want to do this in your mind. And I think it can actually really help and benefit every martial artist to try it, and to kind of, again, there's a lot of guys out there that like to draw diagrams of like little fighting stick figures, and show left hook and left jab, and I get, people look at it and they're like, oh, whatever, but I can really see the interesting part to it, and that's how people kind of visualize, and I think it helps. I think it's not just a physical thing. I think it's so much more mental. It's kind of funny. Like when I was over in Pennsylvania, we had this point fight. Okay. And I was absolutely not ready for a point fight. I had never been in a point fight with, other people. I was taught to always kind of go through my object and go through the people that I was, sparring against. So it was a different set of rules. And I think that, there was an expectance of kind of a little bit more control on your punches and your kicks. And it was just something that I don't think that I was prepared for, but it made me realize that there's so many different aspects of the martial arts, and there's so many different ways to train in the martial arts. And I got to see the beauty, and shout out again to the Genbukai. I got to see the beauty in what they do, and it was very, very, very cool to see how these guys operate, because they're really quick, they're really fast, and they're taught to do this in such a way that it really helps them hone in. But yeah, man, and like, it's something that, again, it made me kind of think, as fighters, we always need to evolve, and we need to take those experiences, and we need to add them into the evolutionary part of our journey in the martial arts.
That's exactly what it is. And what you're talking about, I want to go back real quick to the whole experience about hitting that small speed bag, because I want my listeners to understand exactly, and you explained it very well, but I want to, go back to that and talk to the listeners about how hard that is to do. Okay. As a boxer, just hitting it and having it in concert and having it in a certain rhythm, it takes rhythm, concentration, focus. Now you're doing a target kick, which is entirely different from the usage of an actual speed bag, because what people do with a speed bag is they do this,
Yeah, repetitiously.
and I'm a drummer, so I was always like, that was easy for me. So I was like, okay. And people were like, okay, you want to start the speed bag? I'm like, hey, I got this. I'm a drummer. But if you're trying to do an isolated kick and you have big feet and it's a small fucking bag,
Yeah,
that is not easy to do, brother.
it,
I told you, I was so impressed when I saw that.
Thank you, thank you. I was actually practicing earlier today, and I was doing it again, and it's just, again, either it's pure luck that I've just gotten through it without hurting myself like totally hard,
I don't
or
think it's luck. I think it's
I don't,
just you and your accuracy.
it's kind of just, I really feel like, when I see something and I'm going to try to strike it with a kick, I kind of hone into it, and in a special way, without, sounding like, Danny Rand is Iron Fist. Like I kind of become one with it for that second, and it's that, then I just kind of do it.
Well, that's what you got to do when you do combinations. When you do anything in training, and obviously that's not a combination; that's just a single strike. But anybody that tries to fight is that you really have to hone in, like you said. It's all about focus. It's all about dialing yourself in. It's all about accuracy, and for me as a boxer, what I like to do is always tell people that, you know, you don't necessarily always have to aim for the head. You don't always necessarily have to aim for the body. You could aim at anything above the waistline and break them down. You know, it's
Well,
all about
you know what?
targeting.
It's funny. I was under. I always believed that going for the head was the thing to do. You know, when I was younger, so I'd always try to go for the head because it's the knockout. It's the big deal. And knocking somebody out by punching them in the face is a lot harder than somebody thinks. There's a lot of people out there that can take punches really, really good. Like, for example, like at this last tournament, I got kicked really hard in the face. And surprisingly, I took it really, really well. But again, it's a lot harder to knock somebody out if you don't know what you're doing. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's hard to explain, man. You know, it's just one of those things that, again, you gotta hone in on that target, and you just, you know.
Well, that's what it is, and it is very hard to explain. And the thing is, like, I'm crafting this boxing system where it's a completely different mindset, and this is what you have inspired me to do. I got this from you because you do a hybrid, you do your own creation. And so there was things with my training. I was realizing that, you know, Johnny, you've known this all your life. You've known how to do these things your whole life. But why do you have to box systematically? Why do you have to box traditionally? Why don't you just box differently? Interesting concept. That's what you do, Adam. And that's what you showed me. And that's what I can't wait to show you when we hang out. And you're going to show me more than I can show you because you're a martial arts master.
Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing that I realize about myself. I realize that even if I'm to the point of a master, I'm still very much a student, and there's so much to be learned. And I think a true master always is learning. But yeah, man, I kind of feel like, again, with the experience that I just experienced, it's always going to be different, and it's always going to be a different setting, and it's always going to be a change up. And again, you know, constantly evolving, constantly trying to hone in on every single thing you can grasp and take in. And again, man, like even going through the failure of not being able to, like, you know, go with these guys because, again, I didn't understand the point determination, you know. It was something beautiful and good because it made me realize that there's going to be guys out there that really move like this, you know, so that I need to move like this as well, even in one of those situations. But what it also made me realize is I'm very much a mixed martial arts fighter. I'm definitely not the point fighting type. I like to, you know, roll around on the ground like everybody else does and do some ground and pound and a little bit of jujitsu and wrestling. And I like to, you know, do a little bit that I wasn't able to do in those situations. So it's, again, I kind of felt held back, but it was a beautiful thing, like I said, because it put me in that situation where I kind of had to rely on myself for literally the 5 minutes that I had to learn it. You know what I'm saying? So it's, again, man, it's martial arts is about constantly pushing yourself and it's bringing yourself to these new heights. And that's what I've been doing with the speed bag that we're talking about, is just, you know,
it's being the evolution of being a fighter. You're always adapting. You're always learning. And it's funny, like we were talking about, we're not too old for this shit. I'm 42 years old. I know more about boxing now more than ever than I did in my 20s when I was at my physical prime, if you will, quote unquote. But my wife gave me so much encouragement. She's like, you know so much about it. You work really hard. You know, I'm going to take an amateur fight. I'm going to take one last amateur fight.
I think that's great, man. Like, I'm so proud of you for that.
Yeah.
Too. It's such a big leap. And you know what? Again, it's something that I'm looking into as well right now. I definitely want to fight on the mixed martial arts level. It's something that's been kind of itching my back for a long time. And so I'm definitely looking into.
We should be on the same card.
For everybody out there that's, you know, that hears me, that I haven't met yet, or, you know, is on that professional level, like, I'm very interested in this type of martial arts and this type of fighting. So again, looking to do it. And I think, again, there's something to be said about getting punched in the face in life. There really is. Everybody's like, oh, you don't want to get. There's a beauty to it, and it makes you learn, and it makes you understand, and it makes you not go through the same punch again. So
this is why you're my brother, dude. This stepbrother shit. Like, what do they say with the dinosaur one? What's your favorite dinosaur? And they answer at the same time. because
Yeah.
I totally understand exactly what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind getting hit. Now, I try to avoid getting hit, but if you could take the punch, you have to understand what you're getting into in martial arts and boxing or mixed martial arts and whatever. Like, you got to know what you're getting into going in. It's not going to be a sunshine and rainbow
Well, no.
affair. You're going to get hit.
And here's the thing about this is what I loved about mixed martial arts, okay, is it gives you the ability to really, again, what is martial arts about? It's about expressing oneself. When you're in these other
Yes.
types of situations like these point fights and stuff, I wasn't able to express myself fully. You know what I'm saying? And it's to no offense to them because it's beautiful what they do. But again, what it made me realize as a person and as a martial artist, I was able to subjugate myself in one of these areas, and I definitely feel that I'm in the mixed martial arts range. Um, I
Oh,
really feel
absolutely.
comfortable there, and I feel like I have a potential there. But that's what's crazy is, guys, we're all different. Not everybody can fight at those. Again, there's point fighters, there's taekwondo fighters, there's Kyokushin karate tournaments. Everybody fights everybody fights differently. But again, man, that's what we're going back to, and that's what's so beautiful about a hybrid is learning all of it.
That's right. And that's real fighting. And again, going back to what I was saying before about what you showed me was about that whole philosophy. And then next thing I noticed to myself, I said, you had I had an idea the whole time to break down someone systematically, like hit their shoulders, hit their elbows, hit everything above the waist in boxing, guys, is legit. It's legal. You could hit someone in the throat. And I know this sounds very damaging and very murderous, but it's a fight. And that's what you were just saying. Like it's I if I'm gonna do it, I want a real fight. I want someone to give me their best. I want to give them my best, and I'm willing to accept the consequence of that.
It's super irritating when you have a judge literally like stopping a fight because one punch that barely touches you like is the reason for stopping it. You know what I'm saying?
Bullshit.
Like
Yep.
it's very irritating. Again, and it's to no offense to any of them or any person that does point fighting. It's just not my style of fighting. And I enjoy being able to kind of express myself fully. One thing that my wife always tells me is don't dumb yourself down. I think that people would be maybe irritated by that or annoyed by that, but for me, it's true, man. Like if you're doing something, do it fully express yourself.
Yes. I'm fired
Bruce Lee,
up now.
Bruce Lee, man, he talked about it all the time, and I really believe in this theory. Give it all you got. It's so funny. Like 3 times in the tournament, I was actually kind of called out, and the judge goes, "Well, I told this guy several times that if he kicks like this again, he's going to get disqualified." And I thought to myself, man, I don't understand how one kicks and then stops. It's so much different for me because I kind of felt like, man, I want to go through these guys. I want to punch them like I'm boxing them, and I want to kick them
Exactly.
like and it wasn't something that I was able to do. And as everybody knows, I kind of have this style where I'm going through something, and when I teach somebody, literally, I'm going to teach you. I don't want you to aim for my face. I want you to aim for the back of my head. I want you to go through me. I don't want you to aim for me. I want you to go through me to the bag behind me. That's the kind of visualization I think that I have, and that's what made me realize after this trip is I'm so much more a mixed martial artist because I really actually enjoy getting into the fundamentals of it and then the self-expression where I'm just going out there and it's like this animalistic just this battle, this beautiful battle, and it's like that's what it is for me. But again, man, it made me realize and respect that there's so many other things out there that I don't know. And those guys, man, I'll tell you what, fast as lightning. They understand that sport. They understand how to get in there and get out. I just was so annoyed every time it was called a point, and if my kick was too hard, I could, I was going to be disqualified. It was just like, I can't do this. So again, man, it's martial arts is crazy. It's there's so much to it.
I love everything you were just talking about. And, as a student of Adam's discipline and training, first of all, he's a remarkable trainer. And if you ever have the opportunity and honor and luxury to train with him, like you will learn a lot. And he talked about going through a motherfucker. Let's just put it that way.
I mean,
All right. So
that's pretty much what, again, we talk a lot about envisioning what you're going to do. And that's pretty much what you want
yes.
to in your mind as you're doing it. You
And,
don't want to aim for him. You want to aim through him.
and that was my goal. Like Bob is a 200 and something pound
Fully,
thing
yeah.
that I was having a hard time with. And then next thing I know, because of Adam's tutelage, I was kicking him down and striking him down, punching him down, doing all this type of stuff with force of going through someone.
Yeah.
And Adam's absolutely correct. That's what you want to do if you're going to ever be in a contact sport, like combat sport in particular. You want to, of course, always hope that your opponent is well, but at the end of the day, they're trying to do to you what you're trying to do to them.
Right.
They're not
Right.
trying to take it easy on you.
And
I've been in many fights. So
and another shout out to like my friend Carl Lofthouse, which is this guy that works in the UK, does a lot of MMA stuff. It's kind of like him. There's this part of martial arts that I think is more for practice and uplifting, type of environment. As far as like, I don't know, it's like this whole situation made me realize like where, again, I need to be in the martial arts. And again, guys, there's so many elements to it. You can never look at martial arts and just say it's martial arts, because there's just 100 million different elements to it. And it's just crazy, man. Just like him, this guy, when he fights, he's fighting to literally get the guy to start tapping. And I love that idea, because that to me is something, again, this person is submitting to you. And that's what my buddy Carl does all day long, is he teaches people to do jujitsu and wrestling and everything else. And what I love about that type of stuff is he's not there to get the point. He's there to literally make you submit, because that's truly what fighting should be about. And that's kind of how I feel like if you're going to call a kumite, then let's do this until somebody's giving up, and sure, obviously we don't need to kill each other. But I mean, again, I've never ever been in a situation where I had to hold back. It was heartbreaking.
I have an adrenaline rush when I think about fighting again, and we both have tremendous wives that support us in this madness that we created in our world. And when my wife told me that she was in support of me fighting again, and it was kind of like, remember in Rocky 2, which he's like, Rocky's like all trying to talk to Adrian, and she's like, and Rocky's like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, win. And then my wife told me, she's like, you got this, go out there. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, bro. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's crazy when you think about it.
I'll tell you what, man, is people look at me and they think, oh, I'm so amazing, I can do this stuff. Ilona is 10 times more amazing than me. Bro, I can't use computers. I don't know how to navigate phones, bro. Like, I don't know how to even use the copy machine, bro. Like, the printer. I'm sorry. If I said copy machine, she'd probably kill me right now. Like, that's how like outdated I am in that area. And like, literally, bro, I wouldn't even have made it to this trip with Sean had she not taken care of it the morning of, because I just didn't know what I was doing, bro. Like,
okay.
Like, I never fly. Had I not listened to my wife and Sean's wife, I would have been lost, bro, in the middle of like the Midwest.
100% women run the universe. Let me tell you something right now. And this is no bullshit. Yesterday, I started recording a new album with my band. All right. And everything was working good. And the next thing I know, Windows wanted to update, shut down my computer. Then I had to do it again. And then guess what happened? Windows wanted to update, shut down my computer again. Fuck. And then I finally did it. Windows worked. Everything was good. I recorded, what we call drum MIDI to the computer to send over to my bandmates, whatever. And I couldn't figure out, because of the update, how to make shit work the way I usually know how to make it work. All right. So my wife comes home after
me on any given day, bro.
Yeah.
Remember before you say this.
My wife comes home from a 10-hour shift, and I kind of like ease in, like, she settles in, she has like a little snack. I'm like, babe, I need your help.
Yeah.
You know, like, and she's like, what happened?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
literally within less than 1 minute, she figures the whole fucking thing out. My drum part is there. It's all good.
Yeah.
How do they do that? How?
Dude, they're magical, bro. Like they're
fucking.
I would be lost without my wife. That's all I can say.
I would have no clue how to survive at all. I'd be fucking lost.
She's been the rock, you know, in my life. And I think again that there's a lot of men nowadays that agree, you know, I mean, it's a again, Ilona is 10 times greater than me, guys, in any given situation. She just, you know, she's got the mindset for it and she's prepared for it. And she knows how to handle things. And again, I'm like living in the 1950s over here, bro. Like just getting my first.
Without our wives, like the two of us would be like Christopher and Paulie Walnuts lost in the woods.
Yeah, man. Dude, catch up and relish, bro.
So
I mean, and that's how it would be, bro. Like she's even there to like help me, dude. She does everything for me, bro. Like I would literally be lost, bro. Just lost.
My wife is the same way, and it's absolutely amazing, dude. And not, you know, it's like we have our thing, but they have to mold us. You know, it's like we have to be groomed. You know, like we gotta be taken care of a little bit.
Oh, bro, like I might as well be a child. I might as well be a kid, bro. Like because that's how I feel anyway when I'm around her, bro. Like I kind of feel like she's almost like a mother, dude. Like it's weird. It's crazy, dude. She's been that rock for me, and you know, every time I'm like, oh my god, what, you know, I don't know what I'm doing or what am I gonna do. She literally like fixes it, bro. Like she's like Superman, like Clark Kent, bro.
I know exactly about
bro. Like you said, like she gets on the computer and like 2 seconds it's done. She literally comes in to save the day, bro. I'm the same way, dude. I could not survive without her, bro.
Oh my god, there was so many times, brother. Let me tell you, like I do a show and then it's just not there, and I'm like, panic attack. I'm like, this is an amazing show. I need someone to help me out here, and then my wife comes in and she just fixes it. She finds it. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? And it's literally within seconds, like bang.
And it's with ease. And then Ilona always kind of gives me this look, like, really, like right afterwards, like and because she showed me how to do it a million times, guys. And it's not like I can't use my brain. It's just I don't recollect any of what she says when she like shows me how to do it. It's ridiculous. So it happens all the time. So she always gives me this look. It's hilarious.
I'm trying so hard not to cut off, like, because I'm laughing because I could totally relate to everything you're saying. And my wife, when she listens to this show, she's gonna laugh her ass off.
Yeah,
and dude, 100%. It's we're taught how to do things, but sometimes you can't remember it. And then they do the updates. The updates will kill you. They'll murder you. But you know what they have? They have patience. I don't. I'm not trying to speak for yourself. So, you know, they're like, I'll just go to YouTube and watch a video on it. I'm like, I can't do that shit.
So check this out. It's crazy. So my wife like created a wall, dude, like right in the front of my house. Like you've been to my house, like, so like halfway up the road, bro, like she erected a straight up wall, like stucco, put down the block, bro, used mortar, like, I mean, just went nuts, bro. So like in the front of my house right now, there's a huge wall, bro, like, and I don't even understand how she got it all together. It's insane. I left for a week and it's like, it's straight up erected, bro. And I'm like, how? Like, because this would have taken me like 6 months to do. And then she like looks at me and like gives me this like smirky remark. And like deep down, I don't want to admit that she's probably a better builder than I am. And that's really sad, bro, because it's like, God, man, but she's a firecracker, dude. Wives are hardcore, dude. They're like magic.
Bro, no doubt. I wouldn't have music. I wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't for my wife. I don't think I'd have a life, to be honest with you. Like I can't live without her.
Yeah,
I can't live without her. All right, so let's move to tonight. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, big mixed martial arts fight. Are you watching that fight tonight?
I've been following this, and guys, to be honest with you, at first, and here's how I'm going to say it. I love Conor McGregor. I don't care if anybody out there thinks he's a stuck up or egotistical maniac. Okay. The guy has a way and a presence about him in the octagon that I have never seen. If you watch him move, it's like something, again, you talked about being different. Conor McGregor moves like nobody I've ever seen in history. He has such a solidarity in his footwork. The way that he moves is so simplistic and yet so just sharp. And the man looks like he is unfazed by any situation. If I've ever seen any more composure in anybody, it's him. The man is straight up 100% a machine. Now, a couple of days ago, I honestly was following this, and I kind of thought that Poirier was going to win this fight. But my mind has changed, bro. I really think Conor's going to go in there and kill this guy, just like he said. I kind of feel like this is something that Conor's been ready for, and these guys have done this 3 times now. It's kind of like, it's this battle that they have to have. I mean, I think that Conor needs this, bro, because I think, again, as fighters, we all come to this part in our lives where we're not doing what we used to be doing, and it's not capability. We're just kind of getting older, so we have to condition differently. And I feel like he's going to literally destroy Poirier now. It's just something that I feel like is going to happen, and I saw that aggression he had. I don't know if you guys saw it, where he called him out. He said, "You're gonna die in that ring." And it's kind of like if anybody watched that and didn't feel that fire that was coming out of him, that guy's got heart like Rocky times 10, bro. Like, I really believe he's gonna win that fight.
I was telling everyone that would listen, and they think I'm nuts. I have a whole lot of premonitions about upcoming fights in UFC and boxing. I think Conor will win tonight. I love Conor's swag. I love how Conor presents himself. He tries multiple things, obviously for money, like cash grab with Mayweather, whatever. But he still did a good job. He still fought.
Here's the thing. Like, he's first of all a fighter, okay, and he was a fighter. And he'll always be a fighter. And you guys, that's just the type of lifestyle that these guys live. But again, say what you will about this guy. When I watch him moving in the ring, like I watched a couple older fights last night, it's something to be experienced, because it's almost as if everything that the other fighter is tense about, he's not tense about anything. His movements are so non-tense. They're so loose and they're so sharp, and everything about the way that his footwork entails is amazing. If I could literally try to be like any fighter on the planet, it would be like to be like him.
He's very fluid. Like he loves the Bruce Lee style. He wants to be like water. And a lot of people make fun of him for his training videos when they see him like just trying to like loosen up. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, first of all, guys, you could have all the biggest muscles in the world. It don't mean shit. And guess what they require? Lots of oxygen, lots of blood flow. If you're just relaxed and loose, and not that Conor doesn't have muscles and all that kind of stuff, but he's very loose. Like you were saying, he's very fluid. I think he wins tonight.
There's a calmness to him. So again, and you know what? I think that as fighters, everybody knows this too. There's probably 90% of us in the world where there's still just this inkling of fear that we feel. And maybe he does feel fear. I'm not saying that Conor McGregor doesn't feel fear. What I'm saying is he doesn't show it at all. And that kind of gives an edge to the fight in general. Like, the guy walks into a situation, and even if the odds are against him, he's like, I'm going to dominate this situation. And guys, let's face it, even if you lose, that's how you have to be. You can't.
That's exactly correct.
Walk through life halfway. You can't do something just halfway, man. You have to be all in or all out. That's what I was talking about with the kicking. You can't kick and then stop. You got to kick all the way through. You got to go all the way through your target.
I'm getting fucking fired up right now.
Yeah. And that's what you have to do, though. And it's the same thing, man. And I think that fight tonight is going to be rad. I don't think it's going to be a letdown at all. I think that they're going to give us a good fight. And I think Poirier does not like Conor. And I think that there's just, again, this aggression for one another. But man, it's going to be about, man. And it's actually, I don't really usually follow a lot of the UFC. It's something that I've been doing just recently, and I'm really glad that I have, because I can again, tell more and more day by day it's where I belong, like in that type of fighting condition. But man, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And if you guys get a chance, and if you don't already, I'm sure you do, watch this guy move. It is literally like, it's unbelievable the way he moves.
He's very fluid, like you said, man. And I think I would love, well, obviously I would love to see you in mixed martial arts, kickboxing as well. And like I was talking about, I can't wait to train in boxing with you, and I can't wait to learn more from you, because I've learned so much. And I actually use these exercises. I go to, like, a couple gyms with buddies and stuff, UFC Fit, blah, blah, blah. And I show them how to do what you showed me, like, because you showed me very, very quickly, very patiently. It took me a moment, but very quickly at the same time, if that makes sense. How to do like push kicks and certain, balance of destroying an object, like you said, going through the object. And they were like, holy shit.
Here's how I look at it, man. Fighting is a science, and I try to do everything through the science. And again, like, if I'm not able to do it, then I'm being held back. You know what I'm saying? So it's I want to stray away from everything in the martial arts that isn't going to be pressure tested science. And that's kind of what I'm working on.
This is funny. Okay, these are my notes for my shows. This is what they look like. They look like terrible. But notice what it says right here: science combos.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. You guys, and for everybody listening out there, martial arts doesn't have to be hard. To learn these moves, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a 6-year-long process where you've spent thousands of dollars and only obtained a black belt. The things that black belts do, it can be utilized and actually learned very, very, very well and extensively in a 2-year period. Again, it's about the way that you're taught. And I hear this a lot, guys. I hear, well, this martial art's better than Kung Fu. Kung Fu sucks, or Taekwondo sucks, or karate sucks. And you know what? It's never the art that sucks. It's the person that's doing the art that sucks. And so I always tell people this, okay? So people are like, well, there's that guy that was in China and he beat those Kung Fu masters down, and he showed everybody that, that his UFC type fighting, his Ultimate Fighting Championship, his MMA skills, that he's able to beat these guys. And this is exactly what I want to touch down on, because it's so important. These Kung Fu guys, and again, it's to no offense to anybody in Kung Fu, there's a lot of these like cultish type Kung Fu schools, and the masters of these schools very rarely have to fight at all. Very rarely do they ever actually get into combat, because in these cultish situations, the students believe like they're gods. Like it's no joke, guys. Like, you can look into it. There's crazy McDojo schools out there like this. But it's really strange, because these guys have never pressure tested anything. It looks beautiful and it does work, and the application does work, but it's never been pressure tested. So a lot of these masters, they haven't fought in like 20 or 30 years, because who's going to fight their master? Who's going to challenge their master? Nobody's going to do that to begin with. But again, man, like, these guys, it's sad, because this guy really did run through these guys, but it was because these guys were taught poorly, or they just hadn't actually done the application for like 30 years. And so that's the thing, man, is it's about utilizing application. It's about understanding the mechanics in the machine. Oh, yeah. It's about understanding how to move, where to place your foot, how a punch should come from the tip of the toe up through the hip and through the waist and all the way through your arm. There's a reason for this. And if you understand the reason for it, then flexibility isn't something that you're going to need to throw one of these amazing high kicks that I do. It's more about understanding your body, number one, as an individual.
That's exactly correct.
Understanding yourself. And this is exactly why I take on only usually one student at a time, because I want to give to that person everything. Because what use is it when you go into these schools and you see 100 students with a guy in front throwing punches and kicks? 90% of those students are going to fail, and they're not even going to stick with the martial arts because there's no individual concept training. There's nothing going on between the student and the teacher at all. And so that's what needs to be done in a lot of these situations to make martial arts better. And that's why these schools are failing, and there's not a lot of belief in them. And I think that going back to what we were talking about with the MMA guy, they're not pressure tested. And a lot of them have not evolved, and they're failing because of the lack of evolution. And that's the crazy thing. That's really what people need to understand is mixed martial arts is so important because it's the concept of mixing the things that you learn so that you as an individual can express yourself. And not every person is the same. We all express ourselves differently, but that's the beauty of martial arts, isn't it? And so that's what I always
That's exactly what it is. And that's what I experienced, excuse me, with you when I was out there, and we did hiking and all different types of mental exercises. And what I liked about with you, like, again, with the patients and the one-on-one, because I was always like that as a drum instructor. I didn't like teaching like multiple people at one time because it's not going to work. Everyone's different.
And at that point, all they're doing is watching you. And that's not enough, man. That's like going on YouTube
not enough.
and learning how to do a kick from a Taekwondo master that does it on YouTube, and has like 1 million subscribers. You're not going to understand it. You have to understand the mechanics. It doesn't have to be a slow process, but you have to understand it. And that's the thing is a lot of these people are just doing it without understanding it.
Exactly. But you have to have a responsible coach such as yourself. And when we trained together, it was very mental and physical at the same time, because like the pipe walk, climbing mountains, doing everything that we did was a life changer to me. So that's good instruction. That's good coaching.
See, it's your walk. As an individual, it's about you. It's about how you're going to learn, not how somebody's going to try to show you how they do it. See, that's exactly why I love taking on the individuals, because you have to cater to the individual. If I'm trying to cater to 100 people, it's never going to work. If I'm trying to cater to
the shit that we did will never work with 100 people.
No, because you're not going to understand the concept.
No.
And so again, this is why martial arts is so hard for so many people. Because there is no process in which they can actually express themselves as individuals. That's it, period. The process is gone. The teacher is teaching 50 other kids and giving out awards for best ki. I mean, come on, guys. It's sad what it's become. Yeah. And it's just, it is what it is, I guess,
It is what it is, like this has been going on for years in multiple sports. Like, I mean, what do we have? 8th place trophies now, like, and shit like that. Like, and what did George Carlin say? Everybody's a winner. But he's like, when I was growing up back in the day, we would just tell Bobby, if he didn't win, Bobby, you suck. That doesn't happen nowadays. Like,
but you know what? I'm really sad that it doesn't. Guys, I can tell you when I was growing up, I wasn't the best at everything. I could tell you I definitely didn't have the athletic abilities that my buddies had. And, those presidential, you guys, I don't know if you remember this and you're old enough like Johnny and I are, but we had these like presidential things come to our school. You remember that? And like they would like these like Olympian presidential like type like competitions where kids would get involved and be like fastest runner and this kid did this the best. And
absolutely,
those types of things are so important. Just giving somebody something hasn't actually given them the ability to win anything. Victory comes with defeat, and you have to be defeated to understand victory. And I think that victory wouldn't matter at all to anybody had they not understood defeat first. And so again, man, when a lot of these people are getting these trophies and these medals, it's sad to me because they're never going to understand that defeat in which it makes that victory worth something.
That's right.
That's sadness.
You got to fall down. You got to fall down to get your ass back up, and you learn. Like, defeat is not a terrible thing. Like, it's you can learn so much from it. And I'm about to get on the next plane right now to go train because you got me all fired up over here, bro. So let's talk about that real quick. When are you available to train again, because I can't wait to box and do martial arts with you, man.
We'll get you. I was thinking maybe we can get you out here in like 2 weeks. We'll be done with the wall, so I'll hit you up on the phone. We'll get something set up.
Yep.
Again, it's going to be a really, really good experience. I definitely want to work on my boxing because you know how much I love.
I can't wait. I got so many things I want to show you. I can't wait.
And we'll go ahead and we'll just do the same things. It's going to be super hot, so we're going to have to deal with the element. But man, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful time to be training up here. Like I said, the elevation's high, it makes you a beast when you go back to any other elevation. So
bro, when I came home, I was a different fucking person.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
I tremendous. Like, I lost about 20 something pounds and been working out and just been doing my thing and staying focused. And with the best part about training with you, brother, and for all the listeners out there, is that you'll come home with a different mindset, because you'll go through some adversity, you'll go through some things that will challenge you, but it's never an uncomfortable experience. But what you're going to get out of that experience is a belief in yourself.
And that's what's most important.
Yes.
Is this trip is for you as an individual, and for all those that are actually interested in this. I will be opening my facilities here in about a month, and actually taking on students, here and there. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and as Johnny can vouch for me, it's a perfect place to train.
Wonderful.
So if there's some interest out there, you guys can contact him, or you can contact me on Facebook or Instagram. So yeah, man, it's again.
So let everyone know your handles on Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, so they could.
Just Adam McKinley on Facebook. Really, I would say the best way to kind of find everything and lump it in is just type in Adam McKinley Karate, and it comes right up. It's got this whole Google setup. So, yeah, man, I again, it's great. I'm really glad you're coming.
Fired up, I'm fired up too. We're gonna do like this is gonna be like next level. This is gonna be like Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa shit. We're gonna be training hard.
I'm fired up too. Like I said, I've got some things that I want to get prepared for in my future, and I think it's a good thing. And again, man, thank you for inviting me on the call. It was awesome. Like usual.
Oh man, of course. Let me say this. I got a couple last things to drop in here. Sure. First of all, I love your family. I'm so appreciative of how much
you're always welcome.
You guys have embraced me and took me in, and your wife's helped me out with the screenplay as well, which is just wonderful. I'm so thankful for you guys. And everything you've done for me, especially with the training. I've been a different person since then. So I will keep saying this to people over and over again. You'll get a remarkable experience. I've had some other remarkable experiences recently, interviewing Don the Dragon Wilson, Art Camacho.
Dude, you're talking about some heavy hitters right here. This is insane, bro. I mean, Don the Dragon himself, I have nothing but just amazing awe when I hear his name. The man was a beast, absolute just martial arts god in the 80s. And he's again, man, he's an awesome guy. And then Camacho, bro. I mean, come on, the world's best stuntman.
How fucking cool is this? Exactly.
Yeah.
The world's best. How fucking cool is this guy?
Yeah, I mean, and I saw the show you guys had. It was great. And
I fanboyed. I was a fanboy.
Oh yeah, it's his energy, bro. And again, that's what we're all here for. Is there's a few of us out there that get people fired up, and he's definitely one of those guys that get you fired up and get you thinking about things. So again, both those guys are they're legends, bro. Total legends.
Oh my goodness! And then now what I'm looking forward to in the future is. We both love both these guys, Philip and Simon Ree.
So I don't know if they're ever going to hear this, but I tagged both of them in my video because, again, I watch these guys again, especially one of my favorite scenes from any movie is The Best of the Best, and it's when the two brothers are fighting, and there's this aerial kick spectacle going on, as they say during the tournament. There's this just crazy thing going on. And I just thought that they would appreciate the kick, but man, those guys, again, those are the guys that are the inspirations and why I'm doing what I'm doing today. And it's so cool, man, to finally be able to reach out to people that are available online, and actually, kind of, again, man, I'm honored to even be able to tag them, but I did, man, and I hope they see
they're
it.
Super nice guys. And let's talk, the New Jersey thing comes out of me. I got a couple more things. I got a couple of 3 things to say over here now. Because we could just go on forever. I love talking to you. So basically, with the best of the best, I think that 1 and 2, the best fight choreography outside of Lethal Weapon 4 I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, they just do such a great job together. Simon and Philip, Eric Roberts.
And you know what, for brothers, you did not know for a second they were brothers.
No, you did not.
They gave a raw tension, which is really cool. And I actually, got a fire truck. But they give this raw tension, bro. And they're really good actors. You can tell they're really good actors, because when they're doing this, you would never believe that these people are related, and they do such a good job at the very end. And I think that every person, no matter how much you feel tough or you're a tough guy, I wanted to cry at that ending, bro. Like,
I still do. I've watched the movie fucking 500 times.
I won't even lie, man. You know what? I feel better. I feel better about it. I teared up, guys. Like, when I watched it, because it just came back on Netflix like a couple months ago, and I watched it, bro. And like, I wanted to bawl my head off, bro. Like, how he comes up to him and he honors him like that, and you could just tell, like, with why can't I think of his name now? Roberts.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric. I love that part, man. And you could just tell, like, he's like dying inside at that part where he comes up to him.
Dude, it's so fucking emotional.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a really crazy moment, man. And I think all fighters like understand that.
It's a crazy, it's an appreciation. That's what I love, is like, with boxing, it's a discipline, like martial arts, the same way. You piece it up afterwards, you hug it out, Some people don't. Some people have that animosity. Maybe they bang their girlfriend, or I don't know,
what's
things
crazy
happen.
What's crazy is there's this video that's kind of like floating around on the internet right now. And it's these 2 Thai fighters. I think maybe it's like Muay Baran or Muay Thai. I don't know, something similar to that. And they're just bloodied, beating the bejesus out of each other. The fight ends and they both get on the ground and they bow to each other, and they literally get on each other's knees and they grab each other's hands. And it's one of those moments where I think only a fighter can understand that that's
going to make me cry right now. That's going to make me cry right now.
It's like there's so much respect between 2 people that are in this war, in this battle. And when you can see that at the end, it's the truest form of sportsmanship, is when you can watch 2 guys just beat each other to smithereens, and then at the very end, the respect. It happens in the UFC where you see these guys and they'll accidentally knock some guy out, and he gets down there and he's the first guy on the ground. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And he's holding him. Again, man, that's what true fighting is. It's this respect for your opponent, because you're being paired with this guy, because this guy can kill you as much as you can kill him. And that's exactly what it's about.
Absolutely. And if you watch the best of the best part 1, like we were just discussing, like when Daehan goes over to Philip Reed, who his character is Tommy Lee in the film, he goes up to him, he's limping, he's all weak, and he knows that he lost the fight, but Tommy, he gave up the win because he didn't want to kill him, because if he hits him again, he's gonna die.
Right.
And then Eric Roberts is just emotional. I still cry to this day when I watch it. I've seen it like a million times, honestly. And then when I watch part 2, which the fight choreography is absolutely brilliant, the Coliseum. We got Wayne Newton. He's like, the Coliseum. Yeah.
He made that much better too. The only Wayne.
Oh man. Fucking Wayne Newton came in, banged that shit out. But when Chris Penn's character died, Travis, Oh, that was tough.
It's
And
rough. And those moments in those movies are exactly, it's just, they're
they're
so
hard.
driven, bro. There's nothing like them. And again, they don't make movies like that anymore. You know, it's just too dry, man. They don't make movies that are just, you know, that grab you
That's
like
why I
that.
want to work with your family to make a movie like that again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Again, man, there's something to be said. I think a lot of people that grew up during the time we did in the '80s and experienced those movies and those moments. Again, man, I can remember literally being with my dad, bro, and like going to see Rocky 4 in the theaters.
Oh my God. I was
Bro,
just thinking
like,
about Rocky 4.
bro, like it was literally like, again, you know, all things aside, like it was one of the coolest movies I ever saw in my life. And the movie, bro, like it had this, dude, I swear, like nobody can rock, like no sports person can watch Rocky and not right afterwards want to go out and like run a mile, bro, or like go do something. Because again, we all need that inspiration as people. We need to have people out there that are doing that so that we can be like, hey, I want to do that too.
You know, Rocky 4, 1980, what was it? 84. It was one of the best and worst years of my life because it made me love movies and music, because that soundtrack, the Rocky 4 soundtrack, is the most amazing soundtrack of all time, in my opinion. If you have not worked out to Rocky 4 soundtrack, you have not lived a life.
And it's bro, it's like so, it's perfect for that time. And again, man, they at that time when movies were being made, they knew how to reach people and really emotionally pull them in. I feel like a lot of movies now are just very non-emotional, like they don't have the ability to pull people in like they used to. It's just, again, man, like we talked about last time, you can watch Bloodsport and not be pulled in. You can watch all these, you know, 80s martial arts movies and not be pulled in. Dawn the Dragon, you know, I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's so, there's something about martial arts movies from the 80s. And it's kind of like, I hope somebody soon they kind of claim it and they make it again. You know, that same power that it had.
You know what's crazy is that I had a great conversation with Eric Roberts. I think it was one of the interviews we did. I think it was the third one, and he said the success of the best was that they filmed the fight sequences very like quick in terms of believable, meaning
Yeah.
it didn't drag out. You know,
Right.
like they were pretty fast. Like it, you know, I mean, the first one maybe a little bit dragged out a little bit, but they were all great. But if you watch the second one, it's just brutal fucking mayhem.
And something, you know, that I kind of learned from Sean's wife when I was up in Pennsylvania, which is really cool, is she made me understand angles. I mean, I kind of never really thought about that, but like in these fighting movies and stuff like that, they're utilizing the perfect angle to make it look like punches and kicks are actually landing.
Yes. Okay.
And there's some movies where they have it where it's just perfectly aligned and perfectly angled. And she said in those situations, you're just seeing a perfect angle, and it's the way the camera's hitting it. And it made me think for a minute. It's like, wow, but that's what they did in the 80s. They really made it look like it was hitting somebody, and they know how to pull in on the angle. And that's something else I want to see in movies too. Again, man, it's like, I don't know, man. Martial arts movies have been really dry for the last couple of years.
Well, here's what's up. It's funny. I've been training at a stunt academy.
I saw that. Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very wild. And you're right. It's all about the angle, and it's a lot to learn. Like, I have a whole new high appreciate. I've always appreciated actors. I've always appreciated martial artists. But it's like when you actually start doing it and you start to see like how they have to do it. And it's so funny because like when I went in really fast. So I would be throwing my hands really quick. They're like, you can't do it that way. You have to like telegraph. You have to make it look like, you have to sell it. You have to make it look real slow. Like instead of this, right? You got to go. And then it's like learning a whole nother thing. It's like, wow, okay, now this is acting. And so you got to figure that out. To the fact that they get what they get from those movies, aforementioned Lethal Weapon 4, Best of the Best 1 and 2, some of our favorite martial arts movies of all time, and they make it look so quick and so good is crazy, because it is about the setup, it is about the camera angle, it is about, you know, sometimes you do catch friendly fire which is
Oh, yeah.
interesting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That shit is real. And I felt so fucking bad. I never caught one, but someone else caught one from me. And I felt so bad about it, bro. Like, so we were doing like a little stunt thing, and I clipped him on his chin, and I felt so bad. I was like,
And you know
because I
what though?
knew it right away. I was like,
I'm
no.
pretty sure that those guys are really used to it, so it's not like you would have to fill out of, the ordinary. And again, that's what stunt guys do, right? Like they take the pain.
Oh, some of these people, I mean, I love them to death. All of them are super cool.
Yeah,
It's what I call my little circus circle, but um they do some ridiculous things that are just way beyond. Like I'm like, I'm not there yet, guys. Like they're willing to do a lot of crazy shit, and I witness a lot of stuff on set and looking at things, and I'm like, all right, is this where my life is going? I don't know about it.
you know what? And that's all we can do, man. In those experiences, and I think you and I have talked, a few times. In those crazy experiences, you just push through, and you have to, man. It's funny. It's
Yeah,
like it took of all people. Here we go again. My wife was the one that helped me push through a situation, and you push through it, man, and you realize that you just got to do it. And every uncomfortable situation is a learning process. It doesn't have to be a defeat. It can actually be positive. And you can utilize that situation to make it to where you don't have to go through it again. So
that is 100% correct, man. And what's wild is that through this circus I was talking about, I've met, so many great people, a female fighter who's an actual professional fighter, and she's just so wonderful. And then what I was able to do is put her in contact with awesome, excuse me, boxing promoter. And it's just like, it's meant to be type shit. If you don't take chances in life, if you don't throw yourself out there, there's no experience to be had. Neil
right,
Peart once said, experience to extremes. You got to take chances, you got to take risks, in other words.
yeah,
And it's not only about my own personal gainfulness about what I want to do. It's about connecting and meeting with people and helping them, and then also
absolutely,
when they deserve it, of course. And then like our connection. Look how that happened.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, Sean Cannon was brilliant in saying, "Hey, I want you to talk to this guy. I think you guys would be, you have a great conversation." I'm like, "Okay, thank you, Sean."
yeah.
My wife, after 5 minutes of hearing us talk, she comes in the room during the interview,
It's
and she's just
hilarious.
like, "Wow, what the fuck
You,
is this?"
I
And
mean,
then when we're done, she's like, "You guys are fucking brothers."
but that also helps with the learning experience too. Gaining that friendship and being able to, to train each other. When you come here, I'm not just training you; you're very much training me too. There's a lot that I'm taking in. Like last time when you were here, I learned a few boxing combos that I'm very, very, very comfortable with now that I would actually utilize in a real situation. And that's something big for me because coming from a martial arts background, it wasn't something I did before. So again, man, whenever anybody comes here, I want them to know that this doesn't have to be one of those situations where you're like, oh, I've got to like. I'm very much learning from you at the same time, and everybody's got something that somebody else doesn't have, and that's kind of the thing. It's like my wife getting up for yard sales on Friday and going and picking something else, or picking something that somebody else doesn't want. Like it's just crazy, man. It's one of those things. So
That's what makes you a great teacher, and that's what makes you a great educator. And I cannot wait to work on karate and boxing and mixed martial arts and all this kind of stuff. Like we talked about a couple weeks out, we'll talk about it on a private line
yeah, man.
about when it happens. But when it happens, bro, like this time, I'm in way better shape than I was last time,
Oh
and
yeah, you're
I'm
ready, man, and we're
I'm
gonna hit it a lot harder.
fired the fuck up, bro.
We've got another pipeline to walk that I found. Some
Yes.
really cool stuff, man. So again, man, I think it's going to be great. Just keep training, and you know what? You'll be here in 2 weeks, and we'll get it, man. We'll make it happen. Plus, I got my quad back. Did you see this guy here?
Yeah, let me see it.
Let's see here. Oh,
and by the way, that is like the most beautiful environment to train in. Whenever you're around beautiful serenity like that. Yeah. Bro. Oh, come on.
Yeah. It's a beauty.
Holy shit, dude. That thing is awesome.
It's rad, huh? Again,
okay, for listeners, what we're looking at right now is a awesome fucking quad. Wow. When did you get that again?
So my wife got it for me for Christmas, like I would say like 2 years ago, maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it ended up having issues almost right off the bat. So I wasn't able to kind of use it and do what I wanted to do with it. But then we kind of took it in. We had a professional look at it, and after everything's said and done, man, yeah, it's really cool. I've got an off highway license on it. Goes 60 miles an hour. I mean, it's insane, bro. It's like
holy shit.
Yeah,
it can rip 60.
Yeah, it goes 60, bro. It's not like any quad ever, bro. It's so funny, and it's powerful.
That's really fast, yeah, for a quad, yeah.
Where I live up here, I mean, you've been here. It's perfect. You know, you can go anywhere and everywhere in the Sierras. So
I can't wait to get out there again, bro, and I can't wait to train. And we'll be definitely pumping some Rocky IV soundtrack.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, man.
And just say hi to the family, man. And you know what? I will call you here probably this evening, and we'll set things up.
We'll set it all up tonight. Yep. Sounds great, brother. And this show will be up on iHeart, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, everywhere, Amazon, Google. Man, dude, there's platforms now that picked up my show. I don't even know who the hell they are.
That's great. That's great. And you have a great show, bro. I think everybody agrees. Like everybody that comes on here, it's very cool. It's very comfortable. It's very relaxed. Those environments, they count just as much as the martial art environments. So definitely.
That means a lot to me. I really love talking to people. I really love talking to interesting people such as yourself. And I'll be talking to you in a couple minutes because we're going to set up this trip, and we'll get that Rocky IV montage going on for everybody very soon.
Cool.
All right, brother.